mountain, either it is going around a curve, or those people that are living at the bottom of that mountain are breathing water.
Well, again, you know,
as that.
you've shown many times the experiment of how things are obstructed. Shown the obstruction. I mean, what you're saying here, we have a physical obstruction. There's no evidence for a physical
obstruction. It appears to be a physical obstruction.
Of course, when boats go
and the only reason, but the only reason I can agree with that is because Bev himself went back and he stated not just on Brandon's, but on Beyond the Imaginary Curves, on both of those streams, and verbally and typed out and sent images saying that this image is a normal image from that location.
Right.
Well, in fact, you see this all the time. There's nothing out of the ordinary with this. So if you see that all the time, then it can only lead to one conclusion, that all the time that mountain is in the wrong position for a flat plane. All the time. Right? That's the only logical conclusion you can come to.
It doesn't mean that. It means
it does mean that.
No, you have shown what it means with the black swan.
But if this is sinking, right? Why am I seeing shore to shore where Blackpool Tower is, looking still towards that mountain? So if I'm at Blackpool Tower looking towards that mountain range, I'm essentially seeing flat water for 20 miles. But when you go over here and you look at Blackpool Tower and you see the mountain range behind, you see drop. So there's definitely a conflict there. I see flat water, I see for 20 miles, 24 miles. Bev goes and other people go and they see this Blackpool Tower mountain range that is clearly dropping. There's no flat plane here, right? So what the hell's going on? There's definitely a conflict. I've got 5 years of proof showing flat plane where I live, and Bev and other people have got years of proof of showing drop. So what's the answer? What is the answer? I think I've found the answer. In fact, that's still, I'm 90% sure the answer is that I found is correct, and I've got citations to prove it. I've got evidence to prove it. I will be presenting it. I don't want to talk about it right now, but I'm pretty sure when I release it, it will all make sense. It will justify why I've been able to see over flat water. It will justify why BMLSLM 69 has been able to see over flat water. It will justify why Sky Free and all the other channels out there doing these observations can see over flat water, but it will also still demonstrate that ultimately it still ends up as a globe, right?
But you understand it will just bring more questions than answers. But let's say, supposing...
No, I think it will answer a lot of questions.
Well, let's say it does prove it's a globe. Yeah, let's say your evidence shows that it's a globe. But then, how do you explain the water sticking to the ball? How do you explain the there's so many things that you'd have to explain over your feeling without an actual physical measurement. I mean, why would you even begin that journey?
But this will explain everything. I've spent 2 months researching this behind the scenes.
This will explain space as a vacuum.
For 2 months, I've been explaining.
Ranty, think about what you're saying. Will this explain the vacuum of space?
No, it won't explain the vacuum of space. I don't even want to go there. That's not
that's
my
what I'm
bag.
trying to say to you.
My bag is off.
That's my point. Is that you're going to have more questions than
what
answers.
It will explain. Yeah, no, I don't think it will. I think it will answer.
Well, let's say we go with the ball. I agree.
I think it'll go. Let me just finish. It will go beyond. Listen, it will go beyond optics. It will incorporate other things that it can also account for. And I promise you, once you hear it, and if you hear it with open ears, an open heart, and take it in and accept what I'm saying, that you might just be able to accept that you've been right all this time, that we can see for far greater distances, and Midwest is full of shit. We don't see 7/6R, that's all bollocks, right? But then you're also able to take a step back and accept other things too. And there's a compromise somewhere in the middle that everybody's right. Everybody's right. You see further than you should. You were right all along. You don't see 7/6R refraction. It's bollocks, right? So you get that win. Globe Earthers get their win because it's a globe. And I think at that point, the argument can get settled. Whether, you know, I mean, that's just my feeling. That's where the happy place that I am at the minute.
But again, you're still
because it validates all the work that I've done, all those observations over 20 miles. It validates all of them, right?
Ranty,
and
think about what you're saying.
Yeah, I am thinking what I'm saying.
So you're saying if you get everyone to agree that it's a ball, what you've shown is drop. How are we now lost now with the explanation of how the water sticks to the ball, how we have space, all of that?
No.
That's the implications of what you're saying.
Yeah, but that's for other people to argue. My only argument in this entire debate for the past 5 years has been on optics. That's the only thing that I've ever been interested in or researched. And you know that.
Yes, but that's we're looking at optical illusions, compression. We're looking at the atmosphere, magnification. You're not showing a practical measurement.
This isn't compression magnification. I'm looking at this image and I'm not seeing compression magnification. I'm just seeing drop. Yeah, that's all I'm seeing.
If the mountain is lower, then that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with atmospheric magnification, which can be replicated.
Can it be replicated, though? If you can replicate this in some kind of controlled conditions, then yeah, I mean, I'll gladly come back to the
all we're doing is predicting the cause. All we're doing is you're saying.
For me personally, this image is the image that I've been looking for the past 5 years. The image that answers my question, which is why in my location is it flat, right? If we live on a globe. And then when this image popped up, I had to do some more research, take everything back to scratch, start all over again, and find a compromise in the middle that answered stuff, where we've been misled, where the truth is, what's the real reason, what's going on here. And I think I've found it. I'm pretty sure, and I know that it will validate all those guys going out doing the flat earth observations that are seeing for great distances. It will validate all of those.
I think it will just
but it will also it will also still turn out into being a globe.
It will put you in a very difficult position, Ranty. That's what I think will happen, because it's going to have more questions than answers.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm not getting involved. I'm going to do this presentation on Katz's channel probably in the next 2 weeks. And then that's me. I'm done in the argument with this. I'm going to let other people either reject the information that I've put out or accept it and just walk away and just say, look, you know, you deal with it now. You know,
that's a cop out, Ranty. Because, like I said,
it's not. I'm not going to stick around. Why would I?
And that's why I said I was already
retired. Yeah. I was already retired. I was happy. I was a flat earther until this image popped up. And then
this is nothing new, Ranty. It's nothing new. We've seen this time and time before.
It was new. Well, if you've seen it time and time before, you've still dropped them.
Well, there's no physical drop there. There's no.
Yeah, but there's no. You can't prove optical drop either, because if it was optical drop, that tower would be half hidden too.
Remember, the Earth curve would be the same everywhere, all the way around this position, and that doesn't happen at the same distance. Same amount of drop.
How do we know? I don't have a landmark to do this from.
Because you can go to the middle of the ocean and see there was no drop from the horizontal. So this is
have you been to
illusion.
The middle of the ocean and seen if there's a drop from the horizontal?
Yeah, we've already been able to establish the horizontal, haven't we? And there's no drop. It's been done already. That's what surveyors do.
The problem is, and this is what I'm going to get to, is that you're not thinking out of the box enough, like I have been.
Right.
I've been thinking out of the box about this one subject for the past 5 years, right? You're thinking about everything, right? So you're not actually just studying the one thing, and that's no detriment to you. And what you've asked me there is a very good question, but I think when I do the presentation, it will answer that question that you've just put to me.
It's the same thing that I say to the ball earthers, that there's no get out clause, because even if they showed what we think is curvature, they still have to explain how the water sticks on the ball. What is the size of the ball? What is the ball? There's still so many more questions that have to be answered. And Because
I think it will answer it. I think my presentation will answer that. That's what I'm saying.
Well, that'd be
All I'm
interesting
saying
if you
is,
can...
right now, I called you out of courtesy, you know, because I respect you as a debater. I respect you as a flat earther.
Yeah.
So I wanted to call you personally to, you know, let you know what
Let's go over it.
What was going to happen going forward about me, you know, what I was presenting and what I was going to present going forward, and then what my plans were. And that's exactly what I've done. And
so let me just clear up. Are you saying this proves the globe model, what they say the model is? This comports with the model?
Well, I'm not saying it's a model. All I'm saying is that those mountains, if that is the average image taken from that location where you see those mountains as they are, exactly in relation to Blackpool Tower, with the same peaks and troughs visible every single time you go, then it has to be that that mountain is dropped. Not just, it's not that the mountain is sinking through optics or that it's being magnified or anything like that, that it's just, it has to be dropped. It has to be. The bottom of that mountain has to be down at the bottom where that zero is. I mean, and that would place it lower than the horizon, right? I mean, so
I can't really argue with your opinion. That's what I mean. It's your opinion, right?
Yeah, that's my opinion, and that's the simple. You know, I mean, that's what I've done for the past 5 years, is do this kind of optics. I've never seen an image this clear before. I've never seen an image in my location that reveals all these troughs and mountains and ridges. I've never seen that before. So to get that from somebody and then have other people verify it has been a cathartic moment for me, because I then had to go back and ultimately I know that there's strong opinions on both sides, and we're both adamant. Yeah, we see too far. Standard refraction is bollocks. Yeah, we got gravity and all this shit. Yeah, so there has to be somewhere in that a level of truth on all sides, because people are so strongly opinionated about these. So I went back to scratch and I spent 2 months looking for an alternative answer from an outsider's, from an outsider's point of view. And I'm pretty sure that I found the answer. But for that, there's a lot of fucking apologetics needs to come from the globe earthers towards the flat earthers, because the flat earthers have been right. We're not stupid. And the reason we're not stupid is because whatever we're seeing is part of the globe model. And I can demonstrate that. And
well, it's got to be.
I think you need to hear the presentation.
I mean,
I think you need to hear the presentation before you make a judgment on that. But just rest assured that I haven't had a lot of sleep in the past 2 months, because I've been constantly thinking about this and doing work on it. And behind the scenes, as I say, I've been working very, very hard to try and find an answer, far harder than I think anyone should have done, right? But I think I have got there. And you need to hear the presentation first.
Oh, definitely watch it. Where are you going to do?
Is that for you?
Where are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? How's it going to be done?
It's going to be within the next 2 weeks on Conspiracy Cat's channel. A lot of the papers that I've got, I've already got the citations from. I've got to get. There's so much information that I just need to format it properly and rehearse it a few times before I present it, because, just doing it on the fly, it doesn't sound as good as rehearsing it and going through it 2 or 3 times, as you know.
Have you been out to this Blackpool place?
It takes me about an hour to get there, and if you said that you could go there 10 times and only 1 time you'd be able to see the mountains, so the chances of me going and being able to pick this up it will be flukish. But I know that Bev's been there, and he provided photographic proof that those mountains and that trough, exactly as it appears in this image, is exactly the same. That was
his son who took it, no?
It could have been his son, but he presented the image on his Discord name in Brandon's Discord server. So he was the first person to show that image to anyone else and say, hey, we went to the same spot, we were there today, this is the image that was taken. Whether he actually pressed the button on the camera is irrelevant. The fact is he brought that information to the community.
Not like his you information, to not go down yourself though, you know?
He was with his son.
No, you. It's not like you to not go. You would usually go and verify. No?
And and you're right. And I would have been there, and I had planned to go there, but I didn't need to. Once Bev provided this information, I don't need to check anywhere else. Bev's providing it for me, and I trust him to produce content that's going to be accurate. You know, why would I, turn around and say, "Oh, Bev's lying"? I don't think he was. I think he was telling the absolute truth. And he went everywhere and told everybody that this is a normal
image. Bev is a glober now as well.
No, Bev's a flat earther. He's so thick, he doesn't understand what you're looking at. He thinks that because this is a normal image from what he's seen, because all he's ever seen is like darker mountains. He's never seen these ridges all highlighted with snow so that you can actually look at what you're seeing. And he just quickly put out images that said, hey, look, this is normal, without actually realizing the implications of it. Because by actually producing these images, he validated this image. So he inadvertently gave me the information that I needed. Because if it had been a one-off image, I'd have been able to say exactly what you're saying.
But what's the difference between what's the difference between this? What's the difference between this and Soundly?
I'm not bothered about Soundly's images. Soundly films over an inferior mirage. There's no inferior mirage here, mate.
But how do you know that? They're saying it comports with the model.
Hang on just a minute.
They did GPS. They had Walter Bislin. They had all the surveyors. That Soundly proved the curvature. So what's the difference between this with no GPS, no surveyors, no body checking of measurements, Bev saying this is what he took, and this is believable? Versus Soundly.
Again, I just don't know. I mean, I'm not going to compare it to another image. I'm just going to compare it as a standalone image. As a standalone image that's replicated, that mountain, half of that mountain and more is below where the horizon would be in relation to Blackpool Tower on a flat plane. So if you're on a flat plane,
I'm saying Soundly showed the same thing with his hotel. The same thing was obstructed.
I don't know. I'm not talking about Soundly's observation. I'm talking about this one image. This is where I've done all my filming from, my friend. And this is where I've done my flat earth photography over flat water, right? But to get this other image that shows a different perspective and shows a different relation over a bigger scale, which definitely shows drop, that was a hard thing for me to process. Why the fuck am I seeing flat water locally, but why am I seeing drop from just 15, 20 miles away? Why am I getting that? I just didn't get it. I couldn't process it. It was a kick in the stomach.
Optical illusion.
But it isn't an optical illusion. It's like if Bev went and repeated it. So that's the thing, if it had just been a one-off image, I could have batted it away. But the fact is, we got Bev screaming from the rooftops that this is fucking normal, that this is what you always see whenever you always go there. That mountain is always in the same spot. Well, if that's the case, then it's fucking drop. It can't be being sinking, because at the same time that this is always sinking, I'm always seeing flat plane. What the fuck's going on? It can't be, there had to be a happy medium there. There had to be a medium that where either it was sinking and looming, or looming sinking, or neither, right? And there had to be an answer, and I think I found the answer, and I'm pretty sure I found the answer that answers why I see flat water locally and why this image shows drop. And you'll just have to wait until you see it.
I'll watch it. I'll definitely watch it, but it's no different from, because Zanuck has the same thing. He says the mountain in the background is higher than the one in the front, but it looks lower in the image. Same question that the board earthers ask all the time. They present images like this daily. not. It's nothing. When I look at this, I don't see anything
Yeah, but
unusual. See?
well, if you don't see anything unusual, and then maybe you should take a closer look at it. And
I'm looking at. I mean, I see. Like I say, what we're
maybe do
looking.
your own calculations. Maybe
You're saying
look,
that
we're seeing drop here.
Yeah, you're saying that beyond here, where you said the horizon is, everything is dropping down. Yeah.
Let me just I'll tell you what. Let me get an image up, or let me make an image for you. Right, that would be better. Let me make an image. Just bear with me. So let's get a Google image. Right, put someone's face. Images. Right. Copy image. Right, here we go. So I'm going to share my screens with you now. How do I do that? Share your screen. Here we go.
Oh, so start my screen, yeah?
Yeah. There we go. So you can see. Boom. Right, yeah. So you can. Right, okay. So imagine this dude over here. That's all you imagine, that's the guy. Right? Imagine on a flat plane, right? That there is what you should always see on a flat plane. Right? The problem is, right, when we scale it to that mountain, so we're going to scale his head to that mountain, right? So we're going to scale his head to the mountain. Right, let's put his, probably too big. Let's say about there. A bit small. Right, there's the top of the mountain, right? There's the top of his head, right? This is the mountain. This face is the mountain, right?
Okay.
That face is that mountain in total, all the way down to the bottom. So why is his face below the horizon there? You know, why are we only seeing half of his face?
Same thing the boys have been asking since Flat Earth began, yeah?
Yeah, but why are we only seeing half of it? This image is so clear. Why are we only seeing half of that image, half of that mountain?
Oh.
There's no refraction in this image. Why are we only seeing half of his head?
Because the Earth is that curvature you're saying, yeah?
I'm asking you a question on a flat plane. Why are we seeing half his head? If that's the mountain, where's the rest of his head gone?
So this would be an observed phenomena in nature.
It isn't. It is. There's the mountain in the background. That's the mountain scaled. Where is the rest of his head? Where's his nose? Where's his mouth? And where's his chin? Where's all that gone? Where's it all gone?
Ranty, I can't.
Where's it gone? Where's it gone? See, it's you know, I'm only asking the question. If you don't know, that's fine. I understand. You know, it's no problem. But
so we know the atmosphere acts like a lens, right?
Right. So it's lensed. So it's lensed the bottom of his face off.
Do we not know that the atmosphere acts like a lens?
Right. So you're saying that it's lensed the bottom of his face off. Is that right?
No, I'm asking, do we agree or do we know that the atmosphere acts like a lens?
Yeah, but you're not answering this question. This question is, where is his face gone?
That's what I'm trying to explain.
No, you're not. You're asking about lensing.
Yes.
And I'm saying, lensing... So I'm asking you, I'm returning the question to you and saying, is lensing making that the bottom of his head go? Right, let's put it this way. On a plane, this is where the top of that mountain should be there, right?
No chance.
Yes.
Too far away. Because the ground would rise up anyway.
No.
Let's
put this line in. See that line there that I've just put in? Top of his head.
Ranty, the ground ramps up.
Listen, you see Blackpool Tower there?
Something's happened to you. This is odd.
No, it's not. It's just in this image. If this image didn't have this these this snow on, I would have argued like yourself and said, okay, well, we are seeing the mountain, it's compressed. But the fact is, with the snow on it, you can see the individual ridges. You can follow and trace the ridges. There's no compression going on.
How do you know that's the actual size of the mountain?
Let me bring another image up for you. Here's another image. There you go. So this is the top of that mountain. There's the image that I've adjusted just so that you can see a bit more contrast in it. And you can follow the ridges. This is an image that I took off Google Earth and compared it. And you can see the scarring on the mountain, this circle area here. Can you see that circle area there? You can definitely see that. And you can see the ridges. You can see this is where the water runs down. It's created a little river valley all the way, there's the trough. So you know that we're seeing this area, right? You know that.
Where's that third lump?
Third lump.
In the cartoon at the bottom, there's 3 lumps. 1, 2, 3.
What do you mean 1, 2, 3? What, over here?
Oh yeah, it's not in the picture.
What, over here? This. That there. This image there. You're asking where that is? That's there. But it's just that I've not absolutely 100% got in the exact same position.
There you go then. Not perfect.
Oh, come on. Are you telling me that isn't the same image?
That's not perfect.
Right, so forget that. Forget this mount. Forget that there. Forget that there. I'm not interested in that. I'm looking at this area here. I'm looking at this area that I've highlighted in red. That's what I'm looking at. This here, right? That matches up perfectly. Would you agree? Where I've got it boxed, that matches up perfectly.
Yeah, but Google Earth is not
right.
Perfect.
That's all I'm interested in, right? Yes, perfect, right. So you realise that the bottom down here, that area there, this area where I'm going to put this line, I'm going to change it to white, right? So this white area here, you see that?
Yeah.
So that area there. So when I place this white part here, that's 350 meters above sea level, right? This is 778, 350, right? Do you see the problem? 758 or 753, 700 and, where are we? Down here. 350. Do you see the problem? Actually, 350 is down.
Yeah, it's just more problems for you, Ranty.
Why? Because if that's 350 and that's 753, right? And you can see that with this
and that's
image
why
up
you
here.
said you're just going to put this out and go off, because you know that the backlash of having to answer stuff, you're not going to be able to.
I don't have to answer anything.
Exactly.
I was asked to answer, to find answers.
No, because if this was being honest, if this was an honest endeavour, you would be looking for all of the answers, not just something that fits a narrative for whatever reason.
I've been looking for answers optically and locally. That's all I've been interested in. I'm not interested in what's going on in Hawaii. I'm not interested in what's going on in fucking Australia or New Zealand or America. I'm interested in what's going on in Blackpool. That's all I've done my filming.
Yeah, Blackpool is one of the worst places for observations. All the just like Soundly's image. Okay, it's the worst place to take observations. You've got all the pollution in Blackpool. The worst place to do observations. So again, it's just
it wasn't the worst place. It wasn't the worst place when I was filming Shore to Shore over 20 miles. It's the worst
place. It's one of the dirtiest places in England. Okay, the pollution there is awful.
Listen to yourself, my friend.
Well, I'm saying that it's the pollution and you've got the water there. You're not going to be able to take correct observations, just like Soundly. Because you would have just been a flat earther with Soundly, if at this stage, because you'd have said, well... I
think at this point you're arguing for the sake of arguing, because, I'm presenting, I'm giving you a private presentation here, one-on-one, and showing you the calculations and walking it through with, like baby steps and saying, this is what's going on. And you haven't offered me a conclusive reason other...
because you don't sound like you. Area. It doesn't sound like you talking. It sounds
why
something else has happened. Obviously,
nothing. Well, I'm not been replaced, and I've not got, I've not walked into an extra fucking dimension. This is me from original. This is why I contacted you.
Because I know you've answered these things before. You're just contradicting yourself. You've answered these questions numerous times. You've seen this with Soundly. You were laughing your head off. You've seen this with all kinds of observations where we have obstruction, and you've answered it just so nonchalantly. So I'm not buying it, Ranty. Something has happened. Yeah, you can go out there and say your thing. I'm not, like I say, for me, there's just no way. Because once you know it, because my point, in my mind, once a person understands it's flat, they understand the whole package, all of it. And, to go back, you would need something significant, out of this world. Not just a picture of something, of a polluted area, and just like sounding and say, oh, well, I'm off globe Earth off the back of that. That just would never, ever happen in the real world. So, for me, have fun with it, if you want. I know you, because like I said, you're already panicking because if I ask you more questions, just like anyone else would have to probe, you're not interested. And you can answer them. Because that's my point.
The only thing I'm interested in is this image and my future research that when I do this presentation and I put the information out there, it's going to be for other people to either dig delver into that research and go and look into that and accept it, and it will build bridges between the two camps. It will definitely give a win for flat Earth, but it will also give a greater win for the globe Earth. But both will have to accept that there have been problems and that both have been right, even though they've been arguing against each other. And yet nobody's actually come up with the correct reason for why this is happening until I put this information out. And then hopefully it will build bridges. And I hope that's the case.
You're not getting, you can't seem to understand. Your logic will be flawed. It doesn't make sense. It
may do. But everything seems flawed in this argument. There's... Well, unless you ask the questions, unless you push the boundaries at every opportunity, unless you are out there and getting stuck in and putting the time and the effort in to research this, which I am and have been for the past 5 years, I think that I've got a very good I've got an obligation to my subscribers, and I've got an obligation to the community as large to provide the most relevant information that I've come up with, put it out there, and then I can just leave, because ultimately I've given my part. Then I've done 5 years, I've done as much research as I can, and at that point there comes a time in my life where I have to think of myself rather than the community, because there are other people out there that can continue this research. It doesn't have to all fall on my shoulders.
You're not getting it, are you? This is nothing that anyone hasn't seen before. This is nothing new.
It's something that I've never seen before.
You've seen this many times.
No, I haven't.
This is the black swan. Obstruction,
no,
that's
I
not
haven't.
Physical.
No, you're not getting it. I've never seen this image or images locally before, ever.
You haven't seen obstruction that's not physical before?
Not like... That's not physical. This is physical obstruction.
How do you know? Have you measured it?
Yes, that's what the image that I've just sent you has a measuring tape measure on.
No,
it has a tape measure on, KIMO.
A physical measurement, not a computer measurement.
It has a measurement on it.
Yeah, but I'm talking about a physical... No, Ranty.
It's not a physical measurement. You can see the mount. It's like you can see the man's face. You can see half of the man's face. Pretend that mountain is somebody's head. You're seeing half of his head.
You're using a computer measuring to measure something.
I'm not using a computer. I'm using a photograph.
To measure something?
A photograph.
To measure
what
stuff?
What else do you... Yes, a photograph to measure stuff. KIMO, I can't believe you're... ragging me like this. Right, I'm going to leave you to it.
All right, sound nice talking to you.